Welcome to the Church of Thomas, Bullies and Abusers, 4/13/08. As a child, I found myself in a unique position. I was very small and sick often. As a result, there were people in school who felt I would be the ideal object of a bully. I always tried to use the school hierarchy to stop this bullying. Often the teacher would downplay my discomfort. They would say that I should just avoid these people. When I would tell the teacher that it was their responsibility to protect me, I would hear the cop-out of, "Well, I didn't see them hit you." Or maybe it would be an abdication of responsibility. They would say they cannot do anything unless I witness it happening. If these teachers had their way, these budding bullies would be given the time they would need to mature into true terrorizers of others. I was raised to challenge inequity and fight for justice. To accept the bullying would have told them that they would get away with it. I was taught that I had a right to keep going over the heads of others if they did not do their duty. I went to the principal with my request that something be done about the bully. The first time I did, I basically was told that the teacher would have to maintain order in her own classroom. I could think of no one higher to talk with. I told the principal that at some point I would be pushed too far. If that happened, I would defend myself to the best of my ability. Within the week, this bully escalated the abuse. I defended myself with force that landed them flat on their backs crying. Amazing to me, the teacher suddenly became a disciplinarian. She blamed me for hitting this girl who no one had defended me against. She sided with the girl because what I did was not able to ignore the way she had ignored my problems. When I was sent to the principal, I told him that I felt justified in defending myself in this teacher's lawless environment. He agreed, and I was not punished. After that, there were very few people who dared to bully me. They switched their abuse to others that seemed easy targets. Still, the teacher refused to take action to stop this. I became what I have remained to this day. I did not allow the abuse. Anyone who was persecuted was defended by me. Any bully that picked on them were subject to my reprisal. No bully was exempt or considered too big for me to stop. After several years, I had a conversation with the principal. He had hosted me in his office on a regular basis. He accepted my justification for each act of defense of some other kid that was being bullied. He told me that I had been an answer to his prayer. After I started school, the bullies were rampant. Before I started school, the bullies were rampant and unchecked. His hands had been tied by the rules that the teachers needed to ask for sanctions against a bully. If the teacher did not do this step, nothing could be done by him. If the teacher did not take responsibility for the problem and its resolution, he could not overrule them. He thanked me for single-handedly cleaning up this mess. He thanked me for my well-placed disciplining of the bullies. He credited me with the pacification of the school. I told him that I only did what I felt was right. When I grew up, this sense of responsibility for others' safety continued. It became very rare that the response was physical, though. There were some notable exceptions. I stayed the champion of the underdog. I see a lack of will to respond to bullying. Our society has continued to look the other way when a bully persecutes someone. School still does not get the point that bullies are not just being mean girls or just being boys. They are being groomed to be much more dangerous with time. It is the responsibility of all adults to become champions of the underdogs. It is the only way to reassure those that are persecuted that they have recourse in the world. By not defending the helpless, they are telling these helpless people that there is no justice in the world. They are being taught that bullies run this world. They are being taught that true leaders of the world are bullies that can get away with anything. As citizens of the world, We also have a responsibility to defend those that are being persecuted. The call to be your brother's keeper is not a call to paternalistic issues. At its best, it is an essence of being a champion. I find some very inspiring championing in the works of Gandhi. The environment was oppressive for the colony of India. England felt it was a protectorate, unable to rule without the governor imposed by outside forces. The country had ruled itself for thousands of years before it became a colony of England. Gandhi inspired and led a movement that brought world attention to the occupation of the country. He did not do this with acts of terrorism. If he had, his case would have been lost all credibility. The war would have been lost before it ever began. He took the Indian nation to the brink without violence. The laws that prevented historic activities were challenged by peaceful civil disobedience. He organized a march to the sea. In the ancient traditions of India, there was a right to make salt. Salt was made from the individuals of India efforts with no need to buy it from the English who outlawed this practice. They evaporated seawater to gather a family supply of salt. In a tropical environment, salt is life. Without the supplement of salt, people would die of dehydration. Gandhi did a great deal of planning. He publicized that he would march to the sea. He informed the media as well as the English governor. He organized a huge mass of people from all walks of life and age groups. They gathered their bowls to evaporate the seawater in. On the chosen day, the crowd was enormous. It was a peaceful gathering. The world's newspapers were present to document this civil disobedience. The English troops were there to try and stop them by barring them from the sea. As the march started, the crowd grew bigger and more unstoppable. It marched sedately like a glacier to the sea. The numbers were too large for the troops to stop without violence. With the media watching, they did not dare use force against these protesters. The families set up their salt evaporation operations on the beach. Though the total salt made was very small per person, symbolism radiated throughout the world. With Gandhi's commitment to nonviolent protest, he made his point. Eventually, these protests led to world opinion, forcing the English to withdraw their rule of India. This is a very good example of how you can defend the underdog without violence. Discover the champion in yourself. Be the defenders of those who are not able to do it for themselves. Remember that though violence may be needed sometimes, nonviolence will bear more bountiful fruit. God bless the whole world, no exceptions. Angel Eliza.